Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about introduction to IELTS. I know this can be confusing for so many people. For first timers, you're getting into it, you're confused, you don't know how to tackle the listening, you don't know how to tackle the reading. And don't worry, we're going to get everything all sorted. IELTS is not as difficult as it seems, but with determination, you can really get to where you want to go to. Okay. I'm a Nigerian, but this can, even if you're not a Nigerian, you can have access to my YouTube channel, you can understand what I'm saying, and you can follow. Okay, so I did my IELTS, and at a sitting, I got 8.0. That can be so difficult for a mother with a kid. My baby was 2 months old when I started my IELTS training. Okay, but I didn't want that to bother me. I didn't let that bother me. I continued. Okay, I didn't let that bother me. I continued, and look at me. I got 8.0 in my overall IELTS. So, no matter the situation you find yourself, maybe you're working and you think you cannot do it while you're working. No, don't allow that to bother you. Concentrate on the little time you have, and you see yourself excelling and booming. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna go into details to what is actually IELTS. What is IELTS? IELTS is International English Language Testing System, which means that they're just testing your use of English. That's all. No big deal about it. Enough of the panic. No big deal about IELTS. You can do that. You can do it. Okay, so it has 4 sections where we're talking about the listening, the reading, the writing, and the speaking. Okay, we're gonna go into details in each one. Okay, so the listening has 4 parts. Okay, so each part lasts just 5 minutes. Okay, in my IELTS listening, I got band 8.5. See, so I almost got everything. Like I said, when I started, it was difficult for me. It's not that it was so easy at the start, but I just continued. I continued with determination. I continued. I was listening to everything, to radio programs. It made me get used to IELTS listening, get used to their accents. Sometimes I will even listen to how they pronounce the alphabet, which is very, very important. You should listen to how they pronounce the alphabet. Sometimes I was testing my ears, and I was even listening inside a noisy place. And when you get used to doing IELTS in a noisy place, my dear, you can do it even in a quiet place. So most times I do my practices in a noisy place. Maybe it might even be inside the bus, and I will just put my earphone inside and try to know if I can do that even with the noise. Okay, so that is what I did, and as time continues to pass, I was getting used to that IELTS listening. Okay, so it's just like you're listening to a radio and you're interpreting what you're listening. There will be some answers, some questions on the paper, and you are listening and you are listening for answers, and you're writing down the answers. Okay, so in this part, you should not let your mistakes fail you. Yes, you can be listening and you didn't actually get what was said. You shouldn't dwell on that. You should focus. Okay, we'll get to listening and we'll tackle everything about listening later. Okay, so this actually takes like 35 minutes. Then you're given 10 minutes to cross-check and write down your answers. That is a must. You must leave your 10 minutes so that you can fill in your answers on the answer booklet. Okay? Because previously you were writing on the questions, you're just writing the answers on the question papers, and now you're given 10 minutes to fill in your answers on the answer booklet. And you must start and stop at exactly 10 minutes. Shouldn't pass that. Hence, your pen, your paper, everything will be sealed, and you know what that means. Okay, so it's in listening, there's also a map where you'll be made to check or trace the map and locate at the points where they are. They'll be talking, and you'll be locating the points where they are. So, and also there's also where you'll be asked to fill in questions. You'll be given a kind of comprehension, and you'll be listening to some people maybe talking about, and you're looking at your question paper, and you'll be asked to fill it in. Okay, that is by the way. So this is all about listening. So the next one is the speaking. Okay, the speaking, that one will last like 11 to 14 minutes. So in this, you're in a face-to-face interview with an interviewer. Okay, so you are expected to ask questions answer question asked by the interviewer. Okay, so that it also comprises of 3 parts. The first one, you're just asked a familiar topic, like you'll be asked what is your name, little things, just to keep you comfortable. What's your hometown? All just little questions. Then the part B, the second part question will be, you'll be asked to tell a story. So now you should be good at storytelling. So you should be able to memorize and know the kind of stories that you should tell. So you should work on your act of ability to tell stories. That's it. So, but you're only given 2 minutes to complete that. So in the last one, you'll be asked questions again. Now you'll be asked not simple questions. You're going to be asked professional or very tactical questions, but they're something that you practice, you can develop yourself on that. Okay, so most times what fails people most in the speaking is tension. They are just so anxious that they cannot speak out. Okay, so now you are given the opportunity to speak out and let the examiner understand you, the interviewer to understand what you are actually talking about. Okay, so that's it. But if you are really concentrated, you understand everything. In this, you can tell the examiner to repeat if you don't understand what the examiner asked. It is very, very possible not to understand what the examiner asks. So instead of jumping to the question and tackling the question when you don't understand anything, just ask the examiner to speak, and the examiner will just repeat the question in a more understandable way. Okay, so the next one is the writing. Okay, the writing is usually the last one. Okay, it just takes 1 hour. Okay? You have 2 parts, 20 minutes for the first part. Now you're given a pie chart, a bar chart, a pie chart, a table, even a flow chart, yes, even a map to interpret. Now you're just given that sketch work, and you are asked to interpret what you're seeing there in another paper. So that's it. So it's your ability to understand the question and interpret it just the way the person, without looking at the question paper, without looking at the bar chart or the tables, will understand what you've written. Okay, so you have to know your synonyms, because it is really, 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 really important here. You have to know your synonyms. You have to be able to paraphrase, yes, and give back your answer just for the examiner to understand without looking at the question paper. That is it. So the second part of the writing takes 40 minutes. So now you have a total of 1 hour to do the writing test. Okay, in the 40 minutes, you are given a question to write, and you're asked to discuss the question. Now you're writing the question, and you're making the examiner, putting your arguments, making your arguments in a way that the examiner will understand, and you're trying to balance the question. So that is it. That one lasts like 40 minutes. So that is the IELTS writing. We're gonna talk in details about it later. Okay, the IELTS in the reading session, it lasts 60 minutes. So now you're asked to fill in your answers. You'll be provided with comprehension, and you'll be asked to, just like about three or four passages, as the case may be, and you'll be given some answers. You are asked to answer the questions. So that is it. So now, in the listening, you will be given some time to transfer your answers. Okay, but now you're not given any extra time. So you're expected to write in the answer booklet immediately. As you're answering the question, you're writing in the answer booklet. So many people think they're giving extra time and they end up not writing, which is you failed. So now you have about 40 questions and each one has 1 mark. So you should be careful so that you don't miss anything. There's no error mark, so you're not marked wrong if you don't answer a question. So, but you have to try to attempt all questions. You really have to try to attempt all questions. So during my own time, I got my reading 8.5. Yes. So during my own time, I was confused. I was confused at one point. I didn't know what to write, but I had to leave that one and move over to the next one. Okay, so it really helped me to come back after I must have finished everything and continue. And it was then that I didn't know if I calmed down a bit and I was able to spell the answer. Okay, so and I wrote it, and I don't know if I got it, but I think I got it right. Okay, so that is it. So that is all about IELTS. That's all about IELTS. Okay, so after everything, you're giving score out of 9. So you write, if you have everything, you score everything, you can get 9/9. So it depends on how good you did, how well you did rather. Okay, so IELTS again, the main thing I have to tell people that still want to write IELTS is you don't have to lose focus. You don't have to lose focus. You really have to be concentrated. Because if you are not concentrated in IELTS, you've started failing. You really have to be concentrated in IELTS, especially the listening. If your mind is not focused at what you are doing at that time, you can miss that one. You can miss it, and it's very, very important. You can miss it. So you have to focus, put all your attention, all your focus on what you are doing at that time. So I know it's difficult, but with time you will get to know all this. With time you get to know all the tricks. Yes, it has tricks. So everything, and remember, if you are following so many people, just know that it's not what works for one person that might work for you. So, for example, what worked for me may not work for another person. So if you listen, try to apply this on, try to know if this particular method worked for you. If it's working for you, then go on and use it, and it will be good for you. But if you think that this particular method you learned today, it's not really working for me, and why you try another method? That is it. So there are tricks, but you should know which one works for you and which one does not work for you. Okay, so many people have their different methods of writing, for example, the introduction or overall. So, but you should know which one is okay for you. That is another thing. You should know. Another thing in IELTS is you have to be time conscious. Yes, everything about IELTS is time. If you don't focus on your time, if you write past the time, if you are not even given extra time, once the time is there, that big clock, once it reaches that 1 hour or maybe 45 minutes, you're done, and you're done writing. Any further writing again, you're gonna be penalized. So you really have to be time conscious. That's very, very important. Time is what has failed so many people in IELTS. Not able to finish their part 1 in that 20 minutes and moving over to part 2 in writing has failed so many people. Okay, not able to utilize that 60 minutes in that writing has failed so many people. Not able to utilize that 2 minutes in that IELTS speaking part 2 has failed so many people. So you have to practice to finish by that time that was given to you, because no other time will be given to you. Yes. During my own time, when I was doing my own reading, I finished before time. Yes, and it gave me time to go over from number 1 to number 40, and I was cross-checking to make sure that I actually wrote the correct thing, and I ended up changing like 3 or 4 answers. Yeah, so you really have to work on your time. It's very, very important. Please, please guys, it is, especially my Nigerians, it is very, 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 very important. Time is the number 1 thing that can fail you and pass you. So if you don't utilize your time very well, that's the beginning of your failure. But when you work considering the time allocated to each one, you're hitting there. Yes. Another thing, you shouldn't be anxious while you're doing your IELTS. You shouldn't be anxious. Yes, it is very, 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 very important. You shouldn't be anxious. You should relax your mind. Yes, especially during the speaking, because you're seeing the examiner and you're seeing a strange person. You've never met this person before, so it's like you're talking to someone you don't know, and you don't really know how to express yourself to the person. But that's not it. You have to see the examiner as your friend. Yes, see the examiner as someone you've seen before. Yes, which is very important. Talk to the examiner like you're talking to your friend, like you're talking to your brother. That is it. And you see yourself, even when you're forgetting it, you're remembering, because you are relaxed. So many people, they get everything and they fail speaking because they are tensed. They don't know. They'll see the examiner. Once they see the examiner, they forget everything that they've learned. And it happened to me at some point, yes, when I was practicing. But you should practice more often, talking to yourself and talking to people, or overcome your fear. That's it. You shouldn't be afraid. You shouldn't be scared of IELTS. This is your testing your use of English, for God's sake. It shouldn't make you scared or not. You should just focus on that. Okay? Focus on it. Focus. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid for anything. For any goddamn reason. You don't have to be afraid. Okay? This is something that you should do, and you should give in your best. Another tip that will help everything is G factor. You should know your God. Pray before going into the exam. Pray after coming out. God, pray before, even while practicing. You really have to pray. See, God can do everything. God can make you to remember what you have forgotten. So you should not neglect that part. While you are doing all the practices, doing this, or trying to do this, trying to do that, you shouldn't forget to pray. Okay? So, okay, thank you guys. I'll see you in the next video. These tips are very, very helpful. So I'll be dropping videos every now and then. Okay? And I hope you guys see it helpful, and I hope you guys pass IELTS. Thank you.